You did the individual
Oh my
shots.
God. Here we are again. It's another week 7. Here we go. Okay, it's me, Jeffrey. Now we're going to play the theme song and then we're going to introduce everybody. Okay, here we go. It's so abrupt. I know I say it every week. And you'd think that I would have gone in and fixed it by now, and I flippin' haven't done it. And we don't have Kelly tonight because she's under the weather, so we don't have somebody with the bell to ding us when we swear. So SOB for that. And if you're watching, you notice there's some different faces on the screen, and if you're listening, you haven't heard the voices yet, so you don't know.
You don't know.
Which you don't know. So tonight we have a special guest co-host, Miss Katrina A Johnson from Nickelodeon's All That. How you doing, Gert?
Hi.
Thanks for filling in. I appreciate you.
Pleasure.
All right, and then of course below me tonight we got BC. How you doing,
Hi.
Brian?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, boo. And then our new face, fresh to the hood, kids. Let's hope we don't traumatize her. Hey, Kristen, boo, how you doing, babe?
Hi, how are you?
I'm groovy, Bob. Groovy. What's going on, Kitty? Tell us a little about yourself.
Oh my goodness, what can I tell you? I am a married wife, obviously, and I have 2 crazy dogs. Live in Delaware. What can I tell you about myself? ALS advocate and living the dream. I'm here with you, fine folks.
I hear you.
Nice.
I hear you. Nothing wrong with that. I love that you were like, I'm married and a wife. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm a
well,
wife.
you never know. You never know.
Listen,
There could be multiple wife situation. You know what I mean? You could have been in
there's
Utah.
there's days that I am like, I'm Craig's wife. That's how people know me. I'm Craig's
Yeah.
wife. So it's okay.
Nothing wrong with it. I like to be the ex-husband. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good look for me.
Oh,
Oh,
my
wow.
dog's barking. Hold, please. Sorry, I'll mute them.
Wouldn't it be nice if you just had a remote and you could just
Click,
Yes.
click, click, click. Okay, well, she does that. We'll just pop, pop. Okay, so Brian, you had an exciting week last week, and we didn't talk about it on the show. So while Kristen's getting her dog situated, you want to share with everybody what happened? It's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, we got to adopt our baby on Wednesday. Like we got to actually have the court thing. And it was
Yeah.
that's a huge deal. My God, I
was.
wasn't expecting to hear that.
Yeah,
So he's like 100% ours now.
that's
Congratulations.
awesome.
Wow.
Damien's finally yours.
Damien.
Yeah,
That's his nickname on the birth certificate.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but the cool
I've
thing,
named him Damien.
the cool thing in New York State is that now instead of saying mom and dad, it says parent 1, parent 2, and both Joe and my name are on the birth certificate. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Oh, see, I don't. I'd have to look at the boys. You know, Kelly
Yours
Kelly-
should be like that.
they might be. Kelly actually has them in her fireproof safe. I didn't want to keep them because I'm like, I don't trust myself, and I, so I sent them to Kelly's for safekeeping, and I have copies of them.
What else do you give away for safekeeping?
A lot of my virginity.
Oh, same.
Yeah, I gave it away for safekeeping.
Long time ago.
Yes, Charlie. Yes, oh, that's amazing, Brian. Congratulations. What were your like? So you finished it. You're taking the pictures with the judge. What was going through your brain as you were sitting there, knowing the adoption's finalized?
Oh, that exact moment was kind of like surreal, like that it was actually happening.
Yeah,
because we've been through foster and all that, where there were so many dead ends, and
yeah,
you thought it was going to happen and it didn't. And then, but like not like afterwards, now that it feels real, it's like a huge weight lifted off our shoulders because
well, it's kind of have to have freedom, right?
Yeah.
Like before you have everybody else is involved with raising essentially your child. Like they have control. You don't really have freedom to raise your child how you would if they were your own. Like you have to check in with them. you have to kind of tell them everything and abide by their rules. So it's a different ball game. And then once those adoption papers are signed, man, you could take them home and whoop their ass.
But hopefully you don't.
Wow.
Well, he's
No.
6 months old. So.
Right.
No,
it was a joke, people. It was a joke. Oh my gosh.
Gentle parenting.
Was just kidding. Not really. Yes, it was. Okay.
I do gentle
let
parenting,
go.
but he's not gentle with me. Look,
No, and that's
That makes
why.
sense.
that's
like
why
this
he's-
like this morning, like in the morning sometimes I'll put him in bed with me and just like we play and I'll like, you know, make faces at him and he laughs or whatever. And I put my head down and quickly he just grabbed my hair and just ripped me upward. Like
Whew.
and I was like, oh, okay. Not putting my head down.
Daddy's awake.
It's almost like
He's
he
aggressive.
knows you.
He does. He's pulling those last bits of hair out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't need them. You're married.
Ta-da.
Oh, look at
That's what
oh.
happens.
I didn't even see those. I'm so sorry because I was trying to do everything else. There we go.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Kelly.
And then we got Christopher.
Hi, thanks.
Kelly, do you need me to pull out the save? Oh, and then Kelly. Yes, it's week 7 again. Damn it. So
It's always
kids,
week 7.
we got to check in now. Now that we've made it through here a little bit, we did the theme song, right? I gotta,
Yes,
okay.
that happens.
Oh, and then if anybody else noticed, I'm such a jerk, right? So there's another person missing tonight, Dana. He's like in Yemen or like
He's
Belize
not
or
in
something.
Yemen.
Where'd he go? Do you remember? Because Kelly and I have been arguing about it. That I said he went to
Well, I hope it's not Yemen. That's a war zone.
he went to where did I say he went? Kelly, come on, you're watching. Where did he went someplace? He went to go like, you know, do one of those things, you know, where you do with the guru, you know, you sit around a campfire.
Oh, that ain't in
Is
Yemen.
he in India?
Maybe.
I had said Tibet, but
Yeah, and I
Tibet is
said-
right next to India.
It
and
might
I
be
think
in
I
Tibet. Ooh.
She said
says
Ecuador. She said Ecuador, and I said like Belize or something, or Bulgaria. I don't know. So he's somewhere in the world. Where in the world is Dana? We don't know. But so he's not here. That's what we do know. You know what I'm saying?
He's Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
busy getting centered and shit. Ding. Oops.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
You
a
bet.
ding for the do I owe
Yeah,
someone money for
Kelly, are
that?
you at home ringing
Do
the
I
bell?
owe someone?
Yes, you owe $1 to your local food pantry.
I thought I'd be the first one.
Oh. Listen, Katrina and I have been doing this a real long time.
Mhm.
We're very potty mouth. We used to have a dictionary on the original show Guilty Pleasures where we had to come up with different words. You know, like we had Stranger Wood to talk about a man thing we called the woman's part a Pikachu. Yeah,
A Pikachu.
a Pikachu. And then we had our theme song because the original show, it wasn't called Uncensored, it was called Unscripted.
Scripted,
right?
Yes,
I'm like, what was
unscripted.
it? Was it? And it was like, it was said, what's it? You better cover up your Pikachu because that stranger wood might get to you. Like it was such a catchy little theme song. We're gonna have to do
That's
that again
true.
because that thing we got in the beginning is brutal. Brutal. Oh, bow wow.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're animal friendly here, kids. So it's been another crazy week here for me, guys. I don't know about you, but good Lord.
Looks like it. Seems like it.
I'm telling you, these kids are going to put me in an early grave. So last week, my neighbor's nephew came in town, and you know he brought his son, who's Gabe's age, so like 5 or 6, and they were playing all week. 2 best buds, you know what I mean? They love to go down in the creek in the backyard, and they're having a blast and whatever. So finally on Friday, Aiden goes out to play with them. Okay, good. Now the adults are all out on the deck. My aunt's out there, the neighbors, Marsha and Foy, Marsha tutors Gabe, you know. Peggy comes over and brings the dude's baby. He also brought his baby down. His sister was in town with him too, and she brought her kid. So they're, you know, a group of us, and the kids are all outside playing. Aiden and the 2 6-year-olds decided it'd be a great idea to go. Now, when I say we're in a neighborhood, it is like podunk nowhere. There's no traffic, right? it takes 10 minutes to get up to a main road. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no through traffic. It's not a serious thing. You know what I mean? Well, they took off and walked to Peggy's house, which is about a mile down the road. Now, throughout the thing, you've got Marcia and Foy's house. You got my uncle called me and he's like, yo, there's 3 kids down here walking in front of the house. Right? Because we're like, they're not in the creek. Where'd they go? You know what I mean? They were just gone like that. And it only takes a couple minutes to get to my aunt's house down the street. And we're like, like, oh my God, your Aiden's 10. Like, what are you doing? Why are you taking? Because the little boy, he wanted to go. He's like, oh, come on, we'll go see my great Aunt Peggy. So like when I get down to Peggy's house, my 2 kids come running out and they're throwing him under the bus. They're like, Eli wanted to go to Peggy. Eli wanted to go. No. That's not how this is gonna go down. The 3 of you went together. The 3 of you are going down together. So,
did you teach them about how snitches get stitches?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really have much to say because I'm kind of giggling, right? So I pull up to my aunt's house and I go walk in and I'm like, okay, Tim, where are the kids? Thinking he saw him. He, made him come in the house. He's like, God, I kept going that way. What do you mean they kept going that way? You want to keep going? Right? But I know there's nowhere for them to go. Like it's, you know what I mean? Everybody knows the kids and it's fine. It's really not a big deal. So, and I'm just kind of laughing. So I get in the car, I'm going down further. I'm like, we're going past Aunt Lidge's house. And the lights are all off, I can see they're in the back. Like, okay, they're not there. And then I see Pam out at the weekly cornhole event for all the men. You know what I mean? The fire chief's place. They do the cornhole every week. So I see Pam outside. She's on the blower. I know she's making the call. And I was like, you seen 3 kids around here? She's like, yeah, down at Peggy's. So I go, a few doors down, pull in, and I see their heads bopping in Peggy's house. And then all of a sudden, I see my 10-year-old cover his mouth. I find out the next day, he saw my car pull up, and he goes, "Oh shit!"
Ooh.
Oh yeah. And then he, covering his mouth because he knew him, right? Because he thinks, "Oh, it's going down." I don't really say nothing. In the car ride, I was like, "Y'all need to get in your car." He's like, "Well, I wanted him to see my brother." Like, he's at our house. Peggy dropped him off at the house, and your dad left him up with Aunt Mel while he went down looking for you in the creek. And then I couldn't even get your dad because he was gone looking for y'all, and I just drove down here to get you. So in the car, I'm like, now, when you were down playing in the creek, I told you to make sure you don't go to the road. And they're like, well, we stayed in the grass. Okay. All right. Well, you had to cross one street to get here. And the little Eli, he's like, well, we looked both ways.
Well, he did that at least.
Right. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? Okay. So he looked both ways. So, I mean, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like, they went for a little adventure on a Friday night. Everything was good, copacetic, But I'm like, oh, dear God. And the next morning, Aiden's like, well, I didn't know I couldn't do that. I said, oh, really? Okay. All right. And
you
then
couldn't
later
figure that out?
Right. Then later I found out he said the oh shit thing when Haley called because she was inside. And I was like, oh, busted.
So that means he did know he couldn't do it.
Yeah, he knew. I knew he knew. But this is the thing.
Well,
with
he's
him,
10.
right?
I hope so.
Right. But you know what I mean? He's got this lying problem that he's constantly lying about everything.
That's
always lying about everything. Does anybody know who this is?
I do.
Oh,
hey, Julie.
She's another YouTuber.
Oh,
hey.
Yeah.
We love YouTube folks up in here.
She's a great YouTuber.
Hey, Julie Joe. So yeah, so it's just it doesn't ever end with these damn kids.
Can't be easy.
No.
I have a question though. What were they wearing? Because in my head, I was picturing 3 little baby Huck Finns with like overalls and one little side is undone and little like a stick, like little
snack in their
It was
pocket.
like high 70s. So they had like shorts on, and Gabe had his Crocs on. I think Aiden had his Crocs on. Well, Aiden, oh my God! Like he goes out to play, and this kid, I just can't get. He put a button down on. instead of a t-shirt to go play in the creek. He puts a button down, a dress shirt on to go,
He's fancy.
Oh,
I grew up by a creek, and
okay.
we used to come home with like leeches on us because we would play in the creek all summer long. And my
Mhm.
dad
we
would
don't
be
got
like,
that here.
okay,
Well,
I was like,
laundry
did you
room.
check him for leeches?
in the
I-
laundry room, you guys have to like take everything off.
well, I've been
Put on
internet
clean
dating,
clothes.
and let me tell you, there's leeches galore all over me as well.
I had that conversation. I had that conversation with a girlfriend today. She said the same thing.
Oh,
Almost being 45, I cannot even imagine having to go into that world again ever. No,
it sucks. It's not.
no.
It's not fun. And actually, that kind of brings up the topic that we were going to go into, because I was on Reddit today, and they were talking about people in this generation refuse to compromise, and that's why dating's so hard. And I thought that was an interesting thing because I listened to a lot of my friends who are married, some of them on their second marriage, and I'm like, no disrespect to their marriages, but I'm like, I'll be damned if I do this again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, God forbid anything ever happens to my husband. I will stay single for the rest of my life.
Me too.
Mark my words. I will. Mark my words.
I don't know.
I'll be
I've managed to stay single all this time, so I don't know.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. Dave said, hey, Chrissy.
Hey.
And then we got Victoria says, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think compromise is I think it can be a difficult thing. I think you do have to compromise on important issues when you're with somebody. I think it is a healthy part of a relationship, but I think there are some non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
What about you
Yeah,
guys?
sure.
Like, what's a non-negotiable compromise for each of you? Like, Katrina, you want to go first?
Yes, you can't be broke. Honestly, though, non-negotiable.
No, yeah, we know. Yeah.
But I mean, you don't have to be a bazillionaire, but you have to have at least what I have or more. Period, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Because I've been a sugar mama. It was awful. I'm never doing that again. I will not compromise on that. Had it the wrong way, and now I plan on doing it the right way as far as finances. Another non-negotiable for me is sexy time. You have to be able to keep up. I need at least, I mean, if it were up to me, 5 to 10 times a week would be ideal. But I understand, people get tired and they travel, whatever. So I need the sexy time at least 3 times a week, preferably far more. But I've been in a relationship where the other person couldn't even do the 3 times a week, and I felt terrible about myself. I was like, did I get fat? What is the problem here? What's the deal? I was like, oh, no. I'm not doing that again. That's a necessity. Got to have that one high in the priorities for me.
Who wants to be one of those couples that only has sex 6 or 7 times a week? I mean, come on now.
6 or 7.
Listen, I said in a perfect world, but I understand that's a lot for most people. So I have said 3 times a week minimum for me would be great. That's important.
Hey,
to me.
Dakota.
Hey, girl.
We're on and popping in the chat room tonight, kids. Kristen, what about you? It was non-negotiables.
Politics, LGBTQIA issues, and BLM. I absolutely will not compromise. I have in my 45 years, and I say 45 years because I'm going to be 45 this year, I have drawn a firm line. I will not. I bought my first house when I was 21. I can make my own money, but I will not anymore with these issues. People, my brother stopped talking to me when I was younger, when I was a flight attendant, because I had gay friends. My parents are big Trumpers.
It's kind of hard when you're a flight attendant.
Yeah, right.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm a flight attendant too, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are Trumpers, and I had to really kind of sever that line a lot. And no, I won't compromise anymore. I absolutely will not. I won't deal with it anymore. I will not have people in my life that do that. Yes, Dave, that does count as sexy time.
Dave said, does ginger nut biscuits and a cup of tea count as sexy time?
And it does. And I will kind of slow this down and say this only by saying this because my husband has a terminal illness. My husband has ALS, for those that
Oh my God.
don't know. And I will say, you know, he's been diagnosed now. It'll be 14 years this year, October 1st.
Wow.
And he's been paralyzed now for the last 12.
Oh wow.
And it's been 11 years since we've had sex. And you find that intimacy happens in different ways.
So, I'm sure it's probably had to force you to find that, right?
Yeah. And it's within conversation. It's with me, you know, just touching his arm. It's, you know, with him just telling me I'm beautiful. But, you know, it's these little things in life that you kind of, that's kind of what makes it intimate.
For
And
sure.
would sex be great? Is sex wonderful? Yes, all of those things are great. But sex necessarily isn't, for me, intimacy per se. Sometimes I might have a barking dog in a second. Hopefully he is good. Okay, sorry. So I think you just find those things in different sectors of your life.
Well, I think when you go through something like that, and when, you know, having your husband being diagnosed with ALS, I think it changes everything.
Yeah,
oh God, yeah.
It does.
For sure. You know what I mean? And you have to find different ways to go about everything, and it changes your perspective.
It changed our
And
entire.
it had to.
Yeah, it changed our entire lives. I mean, I was at that time it was U.S. Airways. Now it's American. But you know, I had been with them 14 years when I had to finally leave to care for Craig full time because he couldn't be by himself anymore. And you know, you just kind of realize. I mean, he was 32 when he started getting sick. He was really quite young.
Wow.
So,
How long had you been married at this point?
we had been married 3 years.
2 years.
We got married in we got married in 04, and he started showing symptoms in 07 and was finally diagnosed in 08.
What happens? I don't know anything about ALS.
For everybody, it's quite different. For Craig, he started having right shoulder discomfort. They had kind of thought he was having a rotator cuff issue because he had been a scratch golfer. He had been a really good golfer. And he was not able to play the same and was kind of having a little bit of weakness. He ignored it, obviously, as a man. Sorry, men in the room.
Typical. It's true.
It's true. It's true.
Sorry, men in the room. He ignored it. Finally, our dog started acting really weird. And I'm like, I'm telling you it's something more serious. And he's like, no, I'm fine. Finally, after a couple months, went to our doctor. Our doctor said, thanks, Julie Joe. Went to our doctor. The doctor put him on ibuprofen for a month and said, try this. You know, if this doesn't work, we'll do something else. Sent him. That didn't work, obviously.
Yeah.
Sent him to an orthopedic surgeon. The orthopedic surgeon did an MRI. No, I'm sorry. Yes, did an MRI. And they're like, oh, no, nothing's wrong with your rotator cuff. We're going to send you for an EMG. And the EMG from the neurologist, he's like, oh, you must have been in a horrible car crash. And Craig's like, no, nothing like that happened. And he's like, oh, well, you must have been, had a really bad fall. And Craig's like, no, nothing like that happened either. So then the myriad of tests starts. And at his age, even in 04, even though ALS has been around since like the 1870s,
oh, wow.
Nobody knew that kind of age bracket could be affected. Now more and more young people are being affected, but even then it wasn't really affecting them. We were going back and forth to New York City for a doctor because they had initially diagnosed him with a different disease.
Oh, wow.
And he was getting IVIG treatments, which is, I describe it similar to a chemo treatment because you're hooked up to kind of like an IV all day for 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And he got aseptic meningitis from that.
Crazy.
Holy.
So he stopped that for a few weeks.
Wow.
And in all of this, we're trying to get pregnant, I'm having issues.
Newly
He's
married.
perfectly fine. Pardon? Yeah, newly
You
married.
were newly married. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So all of these things are happening. We did this from like January to June of 08. And then by June of 08, we went back to New York City, and the doctor's like, this is not what this is. You would have been showing signs of improvement if it was. And in doing that, it was back to the drawing board. So
That must
by
have been
September-
devastating.
It was, because it was just, I'm still working full time. He was a restaurant manager. He was still working full time. So it's just a lot of not knowing, and
All
our
this
friends
time
aren't really.
invested.
Yeah, it's a lot of time invested. Watching him get sick, he was, cramping to the point where he was like those scary movies where like the things are all disfigured, like
Oh my
the scary
gosh.
monsters are disfigured. And he went on a malaria medication to help him with that. It's very weird what different medications work for what.
Hmm.
In doing that, we went back to the neurologist in September, and he's like, listen. And I said, he has ALS, doesn't he? And he looks at me and he's like, how did you know that? And I'm like, I've known since like 6 weeks into this. And he's like, how did you know? I'm like, our dog knew. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I just knew. And he goes, well, I can't. In Delaware at that time, they couldn't diagnose you with ALS. I believe now they can. And he goes, okay, well, we're going to send you to Philadelphia at UPenn, and we're going to send you to the ALS clinic. And so October 1st of 08, he was diagnosed with ALS.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
and he's still here.
Had to be
Yeah.
so frustrating that it took so long
Yeah,
And
to
you,
get.
To figure it out.
and you had to travel to so many different places.
it is frustrating. And that's the reason why we've advocated for so long and done all that we have. We've traveled to DC, and even with COVID, we did a lot of, Zoom calls with all of our elected officials in Delaware. We were part of Chris Coons, who's our senator, the co-sponsor of the Act for ALS. I am talking and you are interrupting, dog.
Sounds like when I talk to Jeffrey on the phone during the day. I'm on the phone.
So, he's the co-sponsor for Act for ALS. He has been a really big advocate for Craig, and we've been very lucky to have him in our corner. And Craig is just, meeting him is, for a lot of people, will change your perspective. And I told this story to Jeffrey when I spoke to Jeffrey on the phone last week, but 5 months after Craig was diagnosed, our house burned down.
Oh, Jesus.
It's
And
insane.
I had just gotten off a flight, and Craig was still working, and he calls me and he's like, I need you to bring me a polo shirt. And I'm like, okay, but if I bring you a polo shirt, you're buying me dinner and you're buying my friend dinner.
That's
There you
fair.
go.
And
That's
Kat
fair.
knows,
Yeah.
you bring your gay friend with you, and you're like, we're eating dinner and we're having a steak.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And your
I've been that
friend's
gay
I'm
friend.
coming. Me too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been that gay friend. We got everything comped at the Bellagio. It was a good night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my friend Dan and I show up, and we're sitting there, and Craig is sitting there talking to us, and the phone keeps ringing, and the alarm system at the restaurant always used to go off. So, the host kept coming over and saying, oh, something about the fire alarm. And Craig's like, okay, yeah, I'm coming. I'll be there in a second.
Just ignoring
So
it.
he picks up the phone, and they're like, oh, the fire alarm's going off. And Craig's like, yeah, okay, we're fine. The restaurant's fine. Hangs up the phone. Craig picks up the second line, and they go, Craig, I'm sorry to tell you this. And Craig's like, fudge, Kelly's going to beat me. Beep.
You're fine. You're fine. We still drop them.
Yeah, he comes running to the table, and he's like, Kristen, our effing house is on fire, and I'm not effing kidding. And now Craig has a very dry sense of humor. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, dude. And he's like, I'm not effing kidding. Our effing house is effing on fire. Now, we live like 2.5 miles from the restaurant, and we got home in less than 60 seconds. And got here, and there was like 13 firefighters on top of our house, and our house was on fire. Our dog, thankfully, a neighbor had got him, and he was black and white, and he was all black by the time he got out of the house, but was fine, thankfully. And he, I think I cried like 3 or 4 times. We don't have any family around. We didn't have any family around at the time. And our friends showed up, and Craig turns around and he's like, fuck. And I'm like, what? He goes, I forgot the marshmallows.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, dude. And that's just kind of been his level. Like this entire fight, that's just been his level. So we tell people every day, we like find a reason to laugh, find a reason to smile. Yeah. And that's just kind of how we've been through this.
Where did you guys end up sleeping that night?
We stayed at a friend's house, and then Craig used to be the restaurant manager at Texas Roadhouse, and there happened to be like corporate apartments.
I love Texas Roadhouse.
They're rolls.
Yes.
There happened to be corporate apartments right behind that were like furnished. So they sent us behind there and let us take our dog. And then our 2 cats, which one was found that night and one was found 3 days later, my parents ended up taking. Oh, look.
Wow.
Oh, Kristen's getting called out by her.
Like sorry, Chase.
You said a bad word.
Sorry, Chase. Yes, Dave, you can share my husband.
He wants to share your husband. So, I mean, I guess this is probably not really that important, but I'm a fat girl. Did you and the gay get to eat before the house burned down? Like, what did you guys like? What did you go eat after the house burned down? Like, what?
She wants to know what you ate.
Yeah, we had literally just finished. It was my first time having a sweet potato. I know, my entire life. It was my first time having a sweet potato, sir.
Oh, the dog is mad.
The dog wants some sweet potatoes.
I know. He's like, give me that sweet
potato.
See,
the dog's worried about the food, too.
Like, give me that. Give me that. Give me a bite of that.
Yes, I had a steak and a sweet potato that day.
Thank goodness. You deserved it.
Yes, I did have dinner. Thank God.
But,
I'd have been so mad if you had to deal with a house fire and an empty stomach. Like,
Oh, how
was there anything left? Anything salvageable?
Oddly enough, so the fire started in our bathroom. Hi. Oh, hey, Erin is another YouTuber. She's another big YouTuber.
Oh, hey.
Hi, Erin.
Hey, Erin.
We're always looking for guests. I'm just saying.
Erin and Julie Joe are pretty awesome YouTubers. It started in our bathroom, and we're back in this house. They rebuilt our house. And actually and I say this to say it was a blessing in disguise because, sorry, my other dog is here in my lap. It was a blessing in disguise because,
no, girl.
I don't think
for what?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, me?
Jeffrey doesn't believe in staying in the house once it's burned down.
Listen, if the universe burned it down once, I'm not going back. You know what I mean? That's some poltergeist type stuff. You know what I mean? Caroline, go to the light. No.
It has been
no
saged and cinnamon sticked, but it was.
I don't care if you blow sage up your ass. I ain't going
No, listen. It was completely redesigned for Craig in his wheelchair.
See, Aaron's got. Okay, that's great. I mean, I understand that it's a mixed blessing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm that type of girl.
It was meant to be.
I understand it because my house is worth a lot if it burns down, right? I'm like, please, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go buy an island with it, you know. But
I wish
I'm not keeping it. Like, I'll sell what's burnt down as a shell. We could go build them something else. I would not. Why? No.
Delaware does not work like that. So Brian knows. And you also know New York. Well, no, New York State Realty. You can still get more house in New York. Massachusetts real estate. You get like not so much house for a whole crap load of money.
Right.
Yeah, and Delaware's the same way. And in Delaware, you literally have to itemize every single thing that you lost.
How do
So,
you
like,
itemize everything you own? Like how?
You literally have to like itemize. Like if you had 25 pairs of underwear, you have to put 25 pairs of underwear, and as you replace them, you have to, with the receipt, put like one of 25 with the receipt.
Oh my god.
That
Let me
seems
tell you,
impossible.
it was
I mean,
an
I don't-
entire full-time job.
Brian,
It was
so
horrible.
how would you itemize that one box you have of how do I say this delicately? Is this
Unmentionables?
my nature? Yeah, like your
Toys?
adult adventure sticks. Mm-hmm.
I would
Nylons, ropes.
medicine.
Good. No, it's not medicine.
Not medicine.
The adventure toys. You know, your workout equipment, the adult workout equipment.
Oh.
Your shake weight.
Yeah, your shit. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
My
don't
shake
think-
weight
listen,
collection has
I've never
perished.
owned it. I finally went online, right?
And probably
Because
gym equipment, right?
I've
Right,
used it before.
It's expensive. That stuff is expensive. This kid, the one time I was at his house, he pulled out a whole basket. I've never seen so many toys in my life. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I
Good
was
God.
See, that's alarming because how do you know they're all sanitized?
yeah,
That- yeah.
I'm not touching a shake weight unless it is new in the box.
Shake.
I love you, boo. Yeah.
I need my stuff new, okay? Shiny
Hey, Trey.
and scented.
Hey, Dre.
Yeah, he's got a whole. I'm like, how do you like? I would be so ashamed. Or like, what if you got old school? Like, so when my uncle died, he tried to leave me all his porn stash from the '90s on VHS. You know what I mean? How do you itemize that in a house fire?
That you put in classic films.
Yeah.
Classic.
But
Oh my
I mean, do you
God.
get more for that? Like, and it had the Polaroids,
That's
and
vintage.
he taped their. Oh God, it was filthy. I got rid of it.
Autographed, authenticated classic films.
Rachel said, "File it under necessary."
Necessary health products. Yeah.
There you go.
I can't.
If my house burned down right now, it would smell like a lot of flour.
Oh, I understand.
Flour.
If it burns
Green
down now,
flowers?
Burned down right now. Not flowers, like flour.
Like baking.
Mm-mm. Like bud.
Yes.
Like the
Skunk. Little skunk. Like, yeah.
the magical flower.
Hi, my
Yes.
name's Flower.
flour.
Yeah. Yeah. I like they might notice there was a lot of gummies above my stove and wonder why I kept the gummies
Yes.
locked up above the stove.
Vitamins.
Yeah.
Vitamins
Vitamins.
belong
But why
in the
were my
kitchen 'cause
Flintstone
you're-
gummies locked up above the stove?
because
Who knew?
Because your
You could
kids think they're
overdose.
candy.
Yeah, because it looks delicious.
See?
It does look delicious.
It keeps Daddy sane.
I hear you.
Thank you, Oklahoma. Just saying. Okay, so I'm so sorry to derail that whole thing. So you had to itemize everything in the house.
Itemize everything. But one thing that was oddly salvageable that still freaking works till this day is this TV that we had that literally had water
Shut the front door.
pouring through. I mean, pouring through this TV. Pouring.
No.
And
Is it one of those big ones that's like
No.
freestanding?
It was like
The
literally
box.
like the first like thin TV ever.
So it's not that thin.
It's not.
It's the thick one that's heavy as shit. Like
No, we got rid of that TV. No, it's not that TV. Thank God. No, that TV that weighed like 5,000 pounds.
Yeah.
but I mean it's thin, but it's got weight to it.
It's heavy.
It's not
Like
that
me.
heavy.
Yeah.
Like me.
Thin, but I got some weight to it. Okay.
All right, Katrina. This chick weighs as much as my left ass cheek, and she's over here like, I'm thin, but I got some weight to me. Okay.
Oh, I weigh more than my dad.
In her dreams. So this TV survived a
Indestructible
waterfall.
TV. Mhm.
Yes, it literally survived a waterfall. And then basically, no. And what does the most damage besides the fire is the water.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like a foot of standing water in our basement.
Oh my god.
I would have put
More
in a
than
pool.
anything is the
We have an indoor
then-
pool.
and then there's the quote unquote ambulance chasers that you'll find, and that's the people that show up at your house while you're in the middle of this chaos, and they're like, "Oh, we were sent by your insurance company." Exactly, Dre. We were sent by your insurance company to board up your house, and
Huh?
you don't know any better because you're in the middle of all this chaos. And so I don't know. And so I'm like, okay. And they're like, sign this piece of paper. And
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
okay.
Oh no.
So they board the I call up my insurance company and I say, this is what happened. And the woman, she's like, I will meet you there at 7 a.m. Just go there at 7 a.m. And this happened, in the evening time. So I get there and they have like 3 garbage bags sitting outside our front steps. And I'm like, what are those 3 garbage bags? And they're like, oh, nothing. And I couldn't really say much because they had found one of the cats. And I didn't want them to like hold the cat hostage, if that makes sense.
Right.
That's
So,
terrible to have to think that, though.
Yeah,
Right?
for real.
Yeah, your
And-
fur baby's being held hostage after you've already been through all of this and you trusted someone and now you're being taken advantage
I'm
of.
so glad you clarified because I really was confused for a minute because you didn't really say you had a cat. So I'm like, well, whose cat
yeah, we had
was
2
it?
We had
cats.
2
2
cats.
I
cats
swear I
that were
didn't have
found
no
later.
gummies.
2 cats, 1 dog. Thank you. That cat was listening.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
So we had this kind of buffet that had like our wedding crystal on it. And I knew it had like a camera there because I kept my camera that I took on trips with me, like sitting right there. And we had just taken like a radio out of my husband's car. So those were sitting there. And I knew those were sitting there. And I knew where my jewelry was in our bedroom.
Oh no.
And so I walk in the house and the first thing I see that's gone is the camera's gone.
Oh my god.
And like 2 of the
Not
pieces
today.
of crystal are gone. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
so I call the
This
woman
dude.
on the phone and I'm like, I'm telling you, like, stuff is
Okay.
missing.
We've been robbed.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
there's been catnapping.
And the insurance woman goes, just tell them to leave. Just get your cat and tell them to leave and say, thank you for your services, but we're done here and just be done with it. And I said, okay. And she goes, that's it. Those people, it was literally like 2 pieces of plywood and like a tarp on our roof. They tried to charge us like $6,500 for like 2 pieces of plywood and like a tarp on our roof.
But wait, who did
And they
they
stole
say
all
they
this
were?
stuff.
They said they were an
They
attorney.
say they're like, no, they say they're like their insurance sent us. They call them ambulance chasers. They're basically like de facto contractors that like have put their LLC in their
No.
child's name because they've been uninsured so many
Because they
times.
know they're
No,
gonna
no.
get sued.
Listen,
wow.
I'm Italian. I'm
Wow.
Italian. My grandfather's family was from Sicily. Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been a baseball bat, a crowbar, something, and I'd have been chasing these bitches down the
And a
street.
staple
You know what I'm
gun.
saying?
And Jeffrey would have been like,
yeah, I'd have had the burnt frying pan of me would have been going after the street like, where is my camera? Oh, give me my shit. No,
My camera,
absolutely not.
my wedding jewelry, a bunch of stuff was
No.
missing.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy.
You know what these people look like? Did you ever find out who they were?
Oh yeah, and
I
they
can
only
catch
ended up
my
getting
kids
like
are adopted. I can catch a charge. I got a clean record. I'm up for one.
it's
he doesn't have
fine.
any charges in Delaware, so
They only
There you
ended
go.
up getting $2,500 for their 2 pieces of board and their.
well, hold on.
and
Who did they get it from?
the insurance?
They probably stole the board. It probably wasn't even theirs.
Probably.
They
That's
probably
what
got
They
happened.
stole it from somebody else.
His house.
Yeah.
Put it
Yeah.
over yours.
They stole it from the last guy's house that
That's
burnt down. That
dirty.
poor
That's
bastard. They might have him sign a
dirty.
paper.
And then it
That's-
took 13 months to get back into our house. So
Oh
That's
my
forever.
God.
Wow.
And you had to live in the Texas Roadhouse apartment?
Yeah, that the
Did you
corporate
get
You
free
were,
bread?
but that's a blessing to even have that option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Did
we had to pay rent, and we had to still pay mortgage on top of our house. But I mean,
Oh shit.
yeah, because you
This
still have
is
to keep,
crazy.
your house payments and stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, they don't. I did my ancestor DNA. Italian is nothing I have.
No,
None of this is Italian.
Rachel, I will pull a blade out of my titties and I will cut a bitch. Okay, I'm not the one.
My
I
titties
don't
are
like getting
expensive. I'm not
scammed.
pulling a blade out of there.
I don't care who it is,
Get a-
the police, nobody. I don't take much. Like Brian can bet you see me in action. Like I get a little when you push me too far, I get a little.
I don't know, Jeffrey. What happened to the crystal I gave you for your wedding?
Listen,
Is that the Airbnb?
no.
No,
The
it's no
ex-husband.
longer.
Something to do with the ex-husband and the ex-co-host. We don't know who, but it disappeared in a. I don't know, actually, Katrina. I don't know because I feel like after we bought the house and moved back, so we had a house that we rented. We left, moved into this other house in the country for 18 months, then bought the house we rented back because she wouldn't give me the price I wanted originally, and then she finally, lowered the price, and I bought that one back. I don't remember ever seeing them again once we moved. But I don't know. But I have a feeling that they ended up. I bet you anything, if you made a trip out to Buffalo, that they would be out there.
Mhm.
Were they
They're like
were they
they're
glasses?
500. Yeah, they're $500 wine glasses.
They were beautiful.
They were
Damn.
the what's his name? Savarsky.
I
Yes.
know who took those.
Couldn't toss it on somebody's head.
They had all the little
Crystals in the middle. They were
stem.
like bedazzled. They're beautiful.
And like
Wow.
I was always like, they were how because I called her and I was like, hey, where'd you get where these I want to order so I have a set of 4. She's like, they were $500. I was like, excuse me. I'll you know what?
She
I was
loves
like,
you.
and I'm looking at my friend Shannon, who's a klutz, drinking out of one. I was like, bitch, that's a
Give it
$500
back.
glass right there.
Put that down.
Literally, she spit her wine back into the glass and pushed the glass. She's like, you know what? I don't want to drink out of that after. I was like, no. She said it was fine. If it breaks, we just save the pieces and ship it to them.
Yeah,
and they'll send us a new one.
they'll send you a new one.
So it was fine. Okay,
Mhm.
Wow.
so all
There
right.
you go.
So 13 months, you
Yeah.
get the house rebuilt.
But
you buy a
paid
freaking
for it the
lottery
whole
ticket?
time.
I've still not won the lottery, unfortunately.
Well, that's because you got
It's
that
coming.
poltergeist
It's coming.
TV and you're living in the Indian burial ground house.
No, I was raised in one of those. I
What
was
the
raised in one of
hell?
those houses.
Oh.
I was raised like 200 feet from a graveyard. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Dave said $500 wine glasses. Listen, this girl next to me was on Nickelodeon's All That. Okay, she was in my wedding. That's how. You just gotta start a podcast and then invite a Power Ranger girl on. And this is how this damn show started 10 years ago. Okay, it was a little audio show only. We got 1,000 hours on Blog Talk. You go over there. Uncensoredradio.live, right? Subscribe. We're uploading full interviews. I'm sure none of you care about the
you
Power
can
Rangers.
sip the tea.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Nobody
about the Power
cares about the Power Rangers, right? Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Right.
but Kelly's saying, "Oh my God, Jeffrey, don't oh my God me. Listen, you're sick. Why are you watching the show? Comment. Just mind your business.
Just mind your business.
I'm gonna get so much trouble for that later. I love you. I hope you feel better. Have some chicken noodle soup.
I hope you don't feel
I
better
was
so
just
that I get
thinking
more
that.
bathroom stories because that was the best story I've ever heard.
Oh yeah. If you guys didn't see last week, we're on TikTok, and I uploaded a great story from last week of Miss Kelly, who had a horrible bathroom experience. You can follow us on TikTok at My Uncensored Radio and on Instagram and Twitter at UCR. Oh, we've got banners for this. What am I doing
Jeffrey,
with my
but it's
life?
okay. For the people who are listening,
Yes.
they would like to hear it. UCR Live.
At Live UCR. Yes.
Live UCR.
Yes, on Instagram and Twitter. And then Katrina, what's your stuff?
My stuff is at Katrina A Johnson on Instagram and on the Twitter. And on Facebook, it is Katrina A Johnson fan.
Yeah. And then, Kristen, are you on the social medias?
Yes. It's ALS Advocate for Love on Instagram, and then kcolby9504 on TikTok. Twitter is something. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah,
I go
and
there to read.
I'm there for all of the political drama. But
Right.
now, two kids. Now, tomorrow we have a show on. It's a different show each week. We rotate them out every month. Every week. How do I explain this? Why am I I'm doing it again, kids, where I can't speak
Each
English.
day
My brain's
is a
not working.
different show.
Each Tuesday, each week is a different show, and it rotates throughout the month, right? So once a month we have Uncensored Horror, where they review a horror movie, and then we have What Had Happened ones with me, Katrina, and then this month we're gonna have Angelique Bates, her co-star from All That. And then there's another show, I can't think of what it is. UCR Round Table, and then there's something else. And then on Thursdays we have a live show every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and then we get into that show's really outrageous. We swear a lot.
If you don't want to be like Jeffrey when you grow up, don't do gummies.
I haven't done any.
Do the
gummies
ginkgo
today.
biloba, and you'll remember your shows.
Yes, thank you.
Do your gummies.
I don't even ever remember this show's name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always like, what's it called?
How I ended
The
up
way
this
we
way.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way we were. Something. It was something. Oh, look at it. Just left the things on the screen. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, so you got back in the house.
Yeah.
You got the
Many
years
cats.
ago.
You got the dog.
Yeah.
And there she is.
Parents kept the cats because they fell in love with them.
Oh, that's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
And then how many pairs of underwear did you end up replacing?
All 25.
All 25.
All 25.
That's important.
And did you have to, did the insurance company give you a hard time about replacing your stuff on top of it all?
Oh, it was literally a full-time job. God bless my mother for that one thing, because she literally made it her full-time job to figure out how to get every penny from everything, no matter what she had to do.
Wow. That's
Rob Peter to
amazing.
pay
That's
Paul.
amazing.
So yeah, I mean, thank goodness for retirement and having some time on our hands.
Mhm.
So
That is fantastic.
yeah, so we were very lucky in that respect.
My insurance agent said the best thing to do ahead of time is to take pictures of everything you have and catalog it. I'm like, dude, do you know how long this is going to take?
Take
And
a
he's
video.
like, it's worth it. He's like, yeah, just take a video. So
Yeah.
I take a video of my closet room and then.
Oh, I've got a video. I almost we put a video up of Katrina with Material Girl because it was a thing on TikTok, and I had this video of her closet, and I almost put that up. I'm like, but she'll kill me.
I would
Choke you.
Her closet is a dream. It's a gay man's wet dream. I swear to God, it's a true story. But you know what we didn't do this week, kids? Miss Kelly's yelling at me. She's directing from the chat room. I'm like, oh God, is this what everybody else feels like? Is what I do to everybody else?
Yeah. Also, we didn't get yours and Brian's socials.
I don't have socials.
I do all this. I do all the show socials. That's, you know what I mean. If you're on the socials for the show, you're talking to me. 9 times out of 10.
That's
it
fair.
could be somebody else, but odds are it's me.
I honestly don't. I only have a Facebook. I'm old.
Yeah, Brian keeps getting banned from everything. So the
It's
other
my
thing
face.
on this show that we do every week is we check in with each other. Usually we do it at the beginning of the show. But you know, things are a little different this week. So we put up this photo, and if you're listening, you can't see it. I'm sorry, but we're putting up a bunch of emojis, and we're talking about what emojis we felt. And our hashtag for this show is hashtag what's your emoji. So if you're watching it on Blog Talk, this should scroll through. It's on our Instagram and Twitter a lot. So guys, we'll start with Katrina. What would you say you hit this week for emojis? What were your emojis this week, huh? What'd you hit? You just call them by numbers. Did you go through the whole gamut? What'd you say? Where were you at?
I think I hit every single one except 5. I hit them all.
I'm sure you hit 5, but not the way it was intended.
5 is like a scary, ghosty one, like the Scream movie emoji. I don't think I hit that one, except for maybe when I stepped on the scale. But I mean, yeah, I think right now I'm a number one. I'm happy. I'm excited. I am hopeful for things to come. I think it's important to, I think, put yourself in a way that your goals will happen, not just do them directly, but also indirectly. One of my goals is to have a rich husband. So I am going to Vail to learn to ski, and I am putting myself in the pathway to make that happen. So right
There
now,
you
I'm
go.
number one. But as soon as I fall and break my face on that snow, I'm going to be a number two. When the snow is sliding down my pants and I'm cold and wet, I'm going to be a number three. And when I get down to the bottom of the heel with bruises, I'm going to be a number four. But for now, we're really happy. It's all smiles. I'm a number one.
Oh, Katrina. All right, Kristen, what about you? What numbers, what emojis have you hit this week?
I'm definitely a number one right now.
Mhm.
It's been this has been absolutely a wonderful experience. Let's see. Number 9 was probably last week talking to you and Kelly.
Mind blown.
being pulled into all of this very unexpectedly and wonderfully. I was
Crazy
also
shit, yeah.
very much number 7 last week, but I did lose 8.2 pounds because of being number 7.
Ooh, that's
Who
really good.
doesn't
What's
love
your strategy?
Listen, it was
What's
all
your strategy?
Stomach flu?
starting a new medication was my.
Mm.
It was
Well,
awful.
it's always my favorite.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
it
a
was
firm
awful.
believer. Like my one girlfriend and I, every time we got the flu, our significant others thought we were nuts because we'd be like, "Can somebody please go get us like Wendy's or whatever, like a milkshake?" And they're like, "You're throwing up," and we're like, "Hello, no calories."
This is the best time to eat it.
Right? Like we're not doing it on purpose. Like it's natural. Like we want to eat everything we're not supposed to.
All I wanted was a ginger ale. It was awful. It was horrible. Literally, it was horrible. But right now, I'm one. I'm content and I'm happy and I'm excited for the future.
Julie's a two.
Julie Joe,
No,
don't be a
not
two.
two.
She's a two. Oh, why is Julie a two?
Two is a sad
Why?
face.
Why are you a two, Julie?
No,
Bro.
geez, that's sad.
Poor David said he goes between a 5 and a 10 pretty much every week. Like
Those
that's
are
all.
all the bad ones.
Now I'm a number 10, Julie. Now I'm.
Yeah,
Now I'm.
perplexed.
I go through those if I watch the news, 6 through 10.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Mhm.
true. Very much so.
Oh,
And number
especially
5
now.
sometimes.
Or 5 through 10. 5 through 10.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
How about
Right.
you guys?
Yeah, Brian. What about you? Where were you at this week?
Oh, definitely a 1 because the adoption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a 6 because I have a teething baby.
Oh.
See, Damien's still not sleeping.
He's got 2 teeth on the bottom now. They actually came through at the same time.
Oh, all right.
So, hey.
Did you get those teething tablets that have you been using those that I sent you?
Oh, no. I got him some.
He said, "Oh no."
They got lactose in them. You know how he is.
Oh, he'll be fine. What's a little lactose?
A little bit
What?
of tooting.
Well, I got him this little like stuff with clove oil in it.
Oh yeah, that works too.
That works for him.
Yeah.
He makes a weird
For
face,
sure.
but it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey, what about you?
Yeah, what about you?
You know what? Even with all the chaos with the kids, I'd say I was probably pretty happy for the most part because our numbers are up and people are watching the show. So and woo, we made a whole $3 this month so far in 7 days. I'm like,
Ballin'.
yeah. We just gotta make like, yes. I'm like, so please share this show with your friends and tell them about it. And then if you have a show, we will share that. And we will plug your stuff because that's what we do here.
Mhm.
We love people. Just saying. Kids, Kristen, you made it through your first show. How do you feel?
I feel fabulous. I can't wait for my next one.
I know. I'm
It'll
excited.
be so much fun.
Very exciting.
Kitty, thank you for tuning in and hanging
My
out
pleasure.
and filling in for Miss Kelly tonight.
Yeah, it's
and I
good to
are
see
gonna have
Kat.
a busy week
Mhm.
of recording shows.
Yep.
Woo! It's gonna be a busy one. Oh, Julie said 2 and 6. Oh God. Oh wait, we got a whole bunch of comments. Let's get these before we go. Rachel said she cycled through all Wait, let me
Been
put
there.
that.
Except she missed the happy one.
Let me, because now I don't even know what this is anymore. Okay, so she had a 2, 3, 4, 8. Oh, she was mad as hell.
Oh,
I
Nine,
think Rachel's been watching the news. I don't know.
10, and 11.
Yeah.
Must be. And then Julie also was with 2 and
A sad and a tired.
6.
Well, Julie had finals this week.
Oh, okay. okay.
Oh, okay.
Julie had
that
finals
makes
this week.
Oh,
Yep.
get,
And Julie,
yes,
Joe,
let's
and
get
Aaron.
Julie 2 and 11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
11.
Julie, Joe, and Aaron are on YouTube, and those are both their handles.
Julie, Joe,
Okay.
and
So Julie, Joe, and Aaron Bees are
All
both
right. Well,
on YouTube.
I should be able to go back and like do the backwards tracking thing, and I will make sure that
Yeah.
we subscribe to your channel from the uncensored page. And now I don't know how to get this damn thing down. Oh, Madonna me. Oh, we don't have an ending.
we don't have an ending.
It's how it works.
Jeffrey, why don't you just start tap dancing? Come on.
Dun, 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 dun,
Como
dun.
te gusta mi. Mm. You know that my favorite song. Well, kids, thank you so much. Make sure you, if you're on YouTube, to subscribe. Stay updated. You can catch some of our old boring Power Ranger interviews if you're into that kind of thing. We also interviewed the Casey Anthony prosecutor, but I think he did a no call, no show. But then we ripped his ass apart for the whole hour, anyways, because he sent us a free copy of his book. We interviewed like Ricky Lake. We've had some really. There's so many people that Katrina, Karen, Ashley, who was Yellow Power Ranger for, in the original movie. We interviewed so many people that we don't remember.
And we find out how many quarters it takes.
Oh, yes, quarters.
Oh, yeah, that's on Thursdays. That's one of our things. We like to ask all the men how many quarters. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about an inch per quarter.
It's a size question.
So we're filthy, yeah. So
I saw on TikTok, don't be a 2. Maybe
right?
be an 8.
No 2. Yeah, that's right. We want an 8. So
50
that's not
cents
really.
isn't going to get you so far.
This show's more serious, but Katrina's here, so we're keeping it loose because Kelly's away, Mommy's away, so the kids will play. All right, kids, that's it. We're out of here. Have a good week. Well, I'll see you Thursday and tomorrow. So hopefully you'll tune back in. Thanks for watching. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Why won't this end? Somebody.